Most SEOs check Google Search Console maybe once a month. They look at impressions, maybe click a few buttons, maybe they'll grab a screenshot of a graph or client report, and then they close it. But if that's all you're doing, you're missing the data that actually moves local rankings, and it's costing you or your clients real revenue, real ranking. So in this video, I'm going to break down how exactly you can use Google Search Console for local SEO, how to identify which pages need fixing, how to optimize what's already ranking, and how to catch technical issues that are killing your local rankings right now. This is the exact process my agency has used with over 200 local businesses, because here's the thing, Search Console wasn't built for local SEO. It tracks URLs. It does not track Google business profiles. So most people assume it's useless for local, since for local we only care about the GBP. But there is a workaround, a way to use the data to diagnose exactly why Google isn't ranking your local pages when they should be. By the end of this video, you're going to know 3 things more than you do now. First, how to check if Google actually understands what your local pages are about. Because if Google is confused, you're not going to rank. Second, how to find the exact pages that are killing your GBP rankings. These are pages you built, pages you thought were helping, but they're actually just dragging everything down. And third, how to spot keyword opportunities you're already ranking for, but not getting clicks. These are free wins sitting in your data right now. But let's start. How do you actually see what Google is thinking? Now, we can consider it this way. You wrote 30 pages in English. Well, Google can't read English. It's just math. It's an algorithm processing patterns. Sometimes it nails the translation, sometimes it completely misunderstands what your page is about. Search Console will show you that exact translation. So let me give you an example. I had a client, a plumber, and we built out a dedicated page for water heater replacement. Of course we did, right? This is what you should do if you have a plumber as a client. We optimized the title tag, the H1, local schema, the whole thing. And then we pulled up Search Console, and I noticed something weird. The queries triggering impressions for this new water heater replacement page, they were landing on the emergency plumber page, not the water heater page we just built. Google was confused about which page to serve. Now, I could agree, a broken water heater and cold water is an emergency, but still, the water heater page that we spent time building, it was sitting there, doing nothing. And we never would have caught that without the Search Console data. And once we fixed it, that page started pulling its weight, and we saw ranking improve for water heater replacement. So how do we actually see Google's translation? Okay, we're going to start in the performance report. Let me show you. So here's where we're going to start. I've clearly hidden the business name here, a client of mine. And what we're going to do is come into performance, and then we're going to filter by pages. Once we see that, we can see all of the pages that Google has indexed for this website in order of how many clicks that page is getting. So if I click on one of the pages, like I'll click on the one here for finish carpentry, then I pull up all the queries. I can actually click here and show more than just 10. And what I'm looking for is to see that the queries this page is ranking for, that this page is getting impressions for, is consistent with what I want the page to get impressions for. In this case, finish carpentry. So we can see carpenter, okay, finish carpenter, trim carpenter, wood finishing, custom finish. So you can see this page is aligned. Google is giving it clicks and impressions for the search terms that I want this page to get clicks and impressions for. Let me show you another one. I'm going to cheat a little bit. I looked at this ahead of time, of course, because we look at this every month for our clients. And I'm going to pull up deck designs. Now, the types of queries that we would expect here would be focused around designing decks. But if we see here, we see deck contractors, builders, one design, but mainly construction installation. I have a different page focused on deck construction, deck installation, deck contractors. That's not what this page is for. So this is a clear misalignment that the intent of this page is being shown for different searches. Really, what we know here is that Google's confused. It doesn't know which page to serve for which search. And when Google is confused, it hedges. It doesn't rank you. And I can promise you that most SEO agencies never look at this data. They just send a bill monthly, they check total clicks, and maybe send a PDF with the graph going up and to the right, and they call that strategy. It's not strategy. It's really just a participation trophy. So here's the problem. What we really want to do is run this analysis for every single page on your website across every single query. So we could export data. The Search Console allows us to. but the normal export from GSC only gives you queries or pages, not both together. But obviously, we really need both for this to work. So let me show you how to get around that and pull the queries and pages so that we can quickly run this analysis. Okay, so you can see I have a blank Google Sheet pulled up, and I'm going to hit extensions. I already have it. It's called Search Analytics for Sheets. It's completely free. If you don't, you can hit add-ons, get add-ons, search for it. It's relatively straightforward to install. So I'm going to open the sidebar for it. And I've already linked it up into my Google Search Console account. That is also very quick to do. We'll hit Search Console Requests. We're going to select the website, the same one that I just showed you, the back end. And here, I prefer to use the last 90 days. I want a little bit more data. Most local business websites aren't going to get more than a few hundred clicks per month. So we really want to see several months worth of data. And now the dimensions, I of course want the query and I want the page. And the last thing, I'll just hit request data and let it pull in. Only takes a couple of minutes and it's set up and the export is running. Now, once we have the export, we'll be able to see exactly which queries Google associates with each URL. It's going to take a little bit of time. I let it pull up to 25,000 rows. And here we can see the results. We have every single page listed and every single query. If I actually create the filters, I can sort this and I'll just hide the homepage because I'm not super interested in checking the homepage at this moment. And now I can see every single page and every single query that page is indexed for. Every query that Google thinks is relevant for this page. I don't really care how many clicks, how many impressions. I don't care about any of that. I just care that Google thinks this page, construction services, is relevant for DC general contractor. A healthy page has queries that match the intended service. A confused page has queries that don't match. Or even worse, queries that should be going to a completely different page, like we saw with our deck design page. Now, if we have 30 or 40 pages to check, even with this export, it's still going to take a while to do this forever. So I built a prompt for my agency that does it for us. I'm going to show you the prompt on screen. You can pause, grab it for free, or you can copy paste this from my school community, link in the description. So you take this prompt, you're going to feed it your list of core 30 URLs, what each page was built to target, and this GSC export data. It's going to check every single page and tell you which ones are aligned and which ones Google is misunderstanding. And the misaligned pages, those are the priorities. Clearly, fix those first. Okay, so we've done this and we know if Google understands the pages. But what if our pages aren't even indexed? Before Google can understand the page, it has to know it exists. Okay, this sounds obvious, but I see this all the time. You build out your core 30 pages, you check Search Console a month later, and only 15 of them are indexed. That means 15 pages are doing nothing. They're invisible. We all know that if Google doesn't see your page, no one is going to be able to find it. Those pages can't support your GBP, they can't rank, they can't help provide relevance, they're just sitting on your server doing nothing. And if the agency that built those pages never checked, they billed the client for 30 pages and delivered 15. This isn't SEO, that's guessing, that's hoping. This is your check engine light. If pages aren't indexed, honestly, nothing else matters. So let me show you how to check. I'm back in the Google Search Console, and here we're going to go to Pages. And you can see this is a pretty small website, 39 index pages, very common for a local business. And what we're looking for here is indexed versus not indexed. And when I scroll down here for the reason, there are two statuses that we really get worried about. The first one is discovered but not indexed. We don't have any of those pages for this particular website, so that's good. What that means, discovered not indexed, that means Google found the page, but something about that page made Google decide it wasn't even worth crawling. Crawled but not indexed is the second one that we really care about. And that is arguably worse. Crawled but not indexed means Google found the page, looked at the page, and said, you know what? This page isn't good enough to show anyone ever. So if I click there, I'm going to be able to see a history of crawled not indexed. So you can see what happened here in late October. We started to have more and more pages. We got all the way up to 11. We made some corrections after we noticed this, and we're back down to 6. We still have a little bit more work to do for this client. The fix for both of those problems, discovered not indexed and crawled not indexed, is the same. We need to give Google a reason to care about that page. We need to improve the layout. We need to improve the content. We need to add images, tables, callouts. Make sure we have internal links pointing to that page and get at least one external site linking to it. Finally, make sure that page has an outbound link to an external authority site. And once you've made those improvements, go to the URL inspection and Search Console and manually request indexing. That tells Google, hey, come back, look at this page again. And that's super easy to do. So if I take this one, which is last crawled in July, I can hit inspect URL, and it says this page is not on Google, and it gives me some details as to why. So then I can just hit request indexing. Now we're just gonna give it a week or two. If it's still not indexed, that tells us that the content probably needs more work. Now there are third-party indexing tools that can force these to index. The one that we use at my agency is called Index Me Now. It's not free, but it's very straightforward. They're not sponsoring our affiliate. That's just literally the tool that we use. You give it the URL, it does its thing, and if it fails, you don't get charged. But honestly, here's the truth. If Google is actively refusing to index a page, forcing it probably isn't the answer. Google is telling you something. The content needs to be better. Fix the page first. So now the pages are indexed and we know that Google understands them. So here's where we're going to start pulling ahead of every other business in your market. Honestly, most businesses don't even know that the data I'm about to show you exists. Google is already associating queries with your pages. You can see it in the export that we just pulled, but some of those queries contain modifiers, materials, variations, specific types, and those modifiers, they're probably not mentioned anywhere on your page. Say you have a page targeting main drain line replacement. You pull up the queries that Google is associating with that page and you see lead main drain line replacement getting impressions. Google sees the connection. It's already trying to serve your page for that query. But if the word lead isn't actually on your page, you're leaving ranking potential behind. You can build a lot of relevance just by adding that word. Adding those terms reinforces the signal that Google already sees. You're telling Google, yes, you understood correctly, keep going. Now, this is not keyword stuffing. This is confirming what Google already suspects about your page. And while other businesses are writing blog posts about 10 tips for hiring a plumber that will never ever rank for anything local or help their GBP rank, you're adding 3 words to an existing page and picking up rankings that they will never touch. So here's how you find these opportunities. We're going to go back to that same Google Search Console export that we used in the alignment check, but now we're going to look for something a little bit different. We want to look for modifier terms that Google associates with each page that probably aren't on the page yet. Here's the prompt that we use to do this. This prompt is going to guess because we don't want to spend the time to pull content for every single page just yet. So instead, what we're going to do is pull every modifier worth checking. Materials like lead, copper, PVC, variations like tankless, traditional, hybrid, specific situations like emergency, same day, weekend, and that prompt is going to give you a table. Each page, the core service, and the modifier terms showing up in queries. Plus, it might give you the impression so you know which ones actually matter. And that gives us a prioritized list. Pages with high impression modifiers, of course, get attention first. So then we just have to go to that page, hit a quick Control F for find, and if the modifier isn't there, we just need to edit the content and add it. But here's the thing. If a page has 5 or 6 modifiers to add, you don't want to just shove them in randomly. That's how we end up with content that reads like garbage. So we're going to use yet a third prompt to handle the content rewrite. And this prompt is going to keep the content as close as it currently is. We don't want to change too many things, but we're going to give it the modifiers that we want to add. So then we'll rewrite the content naturally, keeping it similar to as it is, and weaving those terms in where they make sense. It's also going to bold every new term so you can see exactly what has been changed. No big structure changes, no tone shifts. We're just adding those missing signals back in. This is honestly the fastest way to take terms that you're almost ranking for and push them over the edge so your GBP shows up in the top 3. So now you know how to actually use Google Search Console for local SEO, something that most people have no idea. You check if Google understands your core 30, you catch indexation issues before they tank your rankings, and you can find modifier terms to add to your content that you're already ranking for. As I said, this is stuff that most agencies never do. They're too busy writing generic blog posts that no one reads and sending reports that no one understands. They're making local SEO complicated because complicated justifies their retainer. Local SEO is not complicated. It's just work that they're not doing. But here's the thing. we didn't just use Google Search Console to track our rankings. We used a specific 5-step process to actually get our local clients ranking #1 on Google in just 14 days. And all of this was done using AI. So click on the video right here to see that exact ranking process, because without it, even the best Google Search Console data won't move your clients up the rankings.